Halloween is supposed to be fun. But some nights hide real terror. Candy can be deadly. People can vanish without a trace. There are stories from Halloween that most people have never heard. 3 true, chilling mysteries that have remained hidden for years. Real events that will make you question what is safe. Stories so strange and frightening, they will make you think twice before stepping outside on Halloween. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a story. Like this video if you enjoy true stories. Share it with your friends. And leave a comment below telling us which story scares you the most. Halloween is supposed to be fun. It is a night for costumes, candy, and laughter. But sometimes, it can turn deadly. On October 31, 1974, in Deer Park, Texas, something happened that shocked the entire country. A father named Ronald Clark O'Brien took his 2 children out for trick-or-treating. His children were Timothy, 8 years old, and Elizabeth, 5. The neighborhood was quiet but lively with children in costumes. Ronald made sure the kids were dressed warmly and safely. They laughed and ran from house to house, collecting candy. After walking for some time, they returned home. The children were excited to see the candy they had collected. Ronald handed out the candy for them to enjoy. He gave Timothy a pixie sticks. It was a bright, colorful candy tube. Timothy began eating the candy. Within minutes, he complained of a stomach ache. He started vomiting. His mother tried to help him. But his condition quickly worsened. Timothy went into convulsions. He fell to the floor, unable to speak clearly. An ambulance was called immediately. Doctors tried to save him, but it was too late. Timothy died that night. An investigation began immediately. The police examined the candy Timothy had eaten. Tests revealed it contained potassium cyanide. This is a deadly poison. It was enough to kill multiple adults. Authorities began to question Ronald Clark O'Brien. It did not take long for them to notice suspicious details. They discovered he had bought life insurance policies for his children. The policies were worth a significant amount of money. It became clear that Timothy's death was not an accident. Investigators found that Ronald had given out other pixie sticks candy. 4 other children had received poison candy. Fortunately, they had not eaten it. One of those children was Elizabeth, his daughter. This discovery confirmed the crime was planned. The police arrested Ronald Clark O'Brien. He claimed he had no idea the candy was poisoned. But the evidence did not support his story. Neighbors, family members, and store receipts were all examined. It became clear that Ronald had bought the cyanide intentionally. The case went to trial in 1975. The trial was closely followed by the media. People were horrified. A father, who was supposed to protect his children, had instead tried to kill them. The community felt betrayed and shocked. Witnesses testified about Ronald's actions. Experts explained how the poison worked. Evidence showed that he had distributed the candy with the intention of killing his son for money. The jury listened carefully to the facts. They did not need long to make a decision. Ronald Clark O'Brien was found guilty. He was sentenced to death for the murder of Timothy. He also received additional sentences for the attempted murder of the other children. The case became known as the Candyman case. It changed how Americans thought about Halloween. Parents became cautious about trick-or-treating. Candy was inspected carefully before children ate it. The idea that a parent could harm a child for money was frightening. This story spread across the country. It made headlines in newspapers and on television. The execution of Ronald Clark O'Brien took place on March 31, 1984. He was executed by lethal injection. The case is still remembered as one of the most shocking crimes related to Halloween. It left a lasting impression on parents and communities. The story of Timothy and Ronald shows that evil can sometimes hide in familiar places. It reminds us to be careful, even on nights meant for joy and celebration. It also shows how justice can eventually catch up with those who commit crimes. Though Timothy's life was tragically cut short, the story teaches a lesson about vigilance and awareness. Even decades later, people still talk about what happened that Halloween. The Candyman case is studied in criminal justice courses. It is used to explain the psychology of motives and premeditated crime. It also serves as a warning about the importance of safety during holidays. Parents now carefully check the candy their children collect. Neighborhoods have organized safe trick-or-treat events. Communities remember the story each Halloween. It serves as a somber reminder that even happy traditions can sometimes hide danger. This story is not fiction. It is a real event. It is based on facts verified by police reports, court documents, and news articles. The names, places, and events are true. It is one of the most well-known Halloween mysteries in history. The story also made people aware of stranger danger. Even though Ronald Clark O'Brien was a parent, it reminded society that caution is necessary. It helped change laws and safety practices around Halloween. Candy is now safer, and communities take precautions each year. The story lives on as a warning and a lesson. Thinking about Timothy's fate is chilling. Halloween is a night of fun, but it can also remind us of human nature's dark side. Even in ordinary places, unexpected danger can occur. This makes the story both tragic and educational. It remains a story that parents, children, and teachers still talk about today. The Candyman case is a mystery solved by facts. There are no ghosts or myths. It is a real story of a crime that happened on Halloween. It is remembered not just for the horror, but for the lessons it taught. And it will continue to be told each Halloween. Remember, every candy and every Halloween story has a history. Some are fun and silly, and some are tragic. This one is a tragedy that changed a holiday forever. It is a story of loss, justice, and caution. It is a story that needs to be remembered. Now, let's move on to another Halloween mystery. This one is about a young woman who became known as Orange Socks. Her story is chilling, and it remained a mystery for decades. It was late on October 30th, 1979, or in the early hours of October 31st. A body of a young woman was found near Georgetown, Texas. She was naked except for a bright pair of orange socks. The unusual detail of the socks is why she got the nickname Orange Socks. Her death was sudden, violent, and completely mysterious. For years, nobody knew who she was. She was a young woman, but her identity remained a secret. Investigators searched for clues. They found a silver ring with a stone that looked like abalone or mother of pearl. They noticed scars on her legs from healed skin infections. A motel matchbook was also found near her. This suggested she might have been traveling or staying away from home. It seemed she was not from the local area. The police checked missing person reports. But no one matched the details. For almost 40 years, she remained unidentified. People tried to guess her name. Detectives gave her the nickname Orange Socks because of the socks she wore. The story of her death became a famous cold case. People were curious and concerned about who had done this. In August 2019, the mystery finally got an answer. The cold case unit identified her as Deborah Jackson, 23 years old. She had lived in Abilene, Texas. Her family had not reported her missing. Deborah had left home before and was known to be independent. There had been a suspect in the case. Henry Lee Lucas had confessed to killing her. But many experts questioned his confession. They believed he might not have actually done it. The case remains officially unsolved in terms of a trial or conviction. Deborah's story shows how a person can disappear without anyone knowing. It also shows how some crimes are difficult to solve. Even small clues, like a ring or socks, can become very important. Her identity was finally revealed, but the truth about her killer is still uncertain. This gives her story a lasting mystery. The location of her body, the time she was found, and the items with her all added to the suspense. People wondered what had happened in her last hours. Was she traveling? Was she alone? Why had no one seen her before it was too late? These questions kept the case in the public's mind for decades. Once Deborah was identified, it gave her family a chance for closure. They finally knew what had happened to her. But the questions about her death still linger. Investigators continue to examine old evidence. The story is still a reminder of how some mysteries are never fully solved. Halloween is a night when the strange and unusual feel closer. Deborah's discovery on a Halloween morning made it even more eerie. Her story is about a young life cut short. It is about unanswered questions and the search for justice. And it is a story that teaches caution and awareness. Even though many years have passed, people still remember her story. Cold case units use it to show how difficult solving some crimes can be. The nickname Orange Socks became famous in true crime circles. It is remembered as one of the most haunting unsolved cases linked to Halloween. Her story continues to fascinate and unsettle people today. It also shows how small details can matter. A pair of socks, a ring, or a small piece of evidence can tell a story. Investigators use every clue to try to understand what happened. Even decades later, these details help keep the memory of the person alive. Deborah Jackson's life and death are a reminder that behind every cold case is a real human story. Her case also made communities more aware. People began to understand the importance of reporting missing persons. They realized that a disappearance can remain unknown for years. Her story shows how justice can be slow but identification can still happen. And it reminds everyone that even in ordinary places, strange and tragic events can occur. Deborah's story is not a ghost tale or fiction. It is a real event, documented by police, news reports, and official records. The mystery remains, but her identity is now known. This makes the story both haunting and meaningful. It is a story that will continue to be told each Halloween. Now, let's move to the last Halloween mystery. This story is about a young woman who disappeared under strange circumstances. Her name was Kelly Berg Dove, and her story remains unsettling even today. It was June 18, 1982, in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Kelly, 20 years old, was working the overnight shift at a gas station. It was very late at night, almost 3 a.m. The streets were quiet, and the town was asleep. She was alone at the station, as was normal for her shift. While working, Kelly received an obscene phone call. It made her uneasy. She called 911 to report it. She told the dispatcher that a man who had been at the station was acting suspiciously. She asked for someone to check on her. 2 minutes later, something alarming happened. Kelly called 911 again. She said she had seen the man return in a silver-colored car. She was scared and needed help immediately. When police arrived, just minutes later, Kelly was gone. Her purse, magazines, and other belongings were left behind. There were no signs of a struggle. No one stole anything. She had vanished into the night. It was as if she had disappeared without a trace. The police began searching immediately. They questioned neighbors, co-workers, and anyone nearby. The search went on for days. But there were very few clues. No one knew who had taken her or why. The case quickly went cold. For decades, her family and investigators had no answers. They hoped for new evidence or a breakthrough. In 2022, the police announced they had narrowed down the suspect list to one person. No charges have been publicly announced. Kelly's disappearance is still mysterious. It happened in the dead of night, during a quiet shift. She had called for help, but the help came too late. The way she vanished makes it one of the most haunting cold cases linked to a Halloween-like setting. It is a story that reminds people how quickly something can go wrong. Even years later, her story continues to puzzle investigators. People discuss what might have happened in those final moments. Did she leave voluntarily? Was she forced into a car? No one knows for certain. Her story remains unsolved, and that is what makes it terrifying. Kelly's case is also a warning. It shows the importance of being aware of your surroundings. Even when everything seems normal, danger can appear suddenly. Her disappearance reminds communities to take safety seriously, especially at night. It is a story that still sparks curiosity and caution. The story also teaches patience and persistence. Investigators continue to review old evidence. Cold cases like Kelly's show that time does not erase the need for justice. Each clue, no matter how small, is important. Her story lives on as a real-life mystery that haunts people's minds. Even though Kelly's disappearance is not officially solved, her story is remembered every year. It has become part of true crime discussions and Halloween lore. People remember her for who she was and for the mystery of her fate. It is a chilling reminder that not all Halloween stories are about ghosts or legends. Some are about real people who went missing under unexplained circumstances. Kelly Berg Dove's story is not fiction. It is a real event. It is documented by police records, news reports, and eyewitness accounts. Her story shows that mystery and danger can exist in ordinary places. And it continues to make people think twice about Halloween nights and late hours. The night is dark, and Halloween is supposed to be full of fun. Children laugh as they run from house to house. Lights flicker on porches, and candy bowls overflow. But tonight, we have seen that darkness can hide in the most ordinary places. It can hide behind smiles and costumes. It can hide in empty streets and quiet neighborhoods. And sometimes, it hides in places we never expect, even within families. The stories we have shared tonight are not from movies or books. They are real. The Candy Man, Orange Socks, and the disappearance of Kelly Berg Dove. Each of these stories shows how quickly a night of celebration can turn into fear. They remind us that real-life mysteries can be far scarier than anything imagined. The Candy Man is a story that shook the nation. A father, someone meant to protect his children, turned Halloween into a night of horror. A simple act of giving candy became a calculated crime. It left a community grieving, a nation in shock, and families questioning who they could trust. Even decades later, people remember Timothy's fate, the loss, and the lessons learned. Orange Socks is a story of mystery and unanswered questions. A young woman found alone, with only her bright orange socks to give a clue to her identity. For decades, no one knew who she was. Her story reminds us that even in ordinary towns, ordinary nights, lives can be changed forever. It shows that some mysteries take years, even decades, to solve. And sometimes, the truth about what happened may never be known. Kelly Berg Dove's disappearance is a chilling reminder of how fast life can change. A young woman working a quiet night shift calls for help. Minutes later, she is gone. No signs of struggle, no robbery, just a sudden vanishing. Even after years of investigation, her story remains unsolved. It reminds us that danger can appear suddenly, and sometimes, the answers are beyond reach. All three stories are different, but they share one thing in common. They happen during nights that should have been joyful. They happen to real people with families, friends, and futures. And they leave behind lessons about caution, awareness, and the unexpected nature of life. Halloween is a night for joy, but these stories show the shadows that linger behind the lights. As we think about these mysteries, it is impossible not to feel the weight of the unknown. What if these events could happen again? What if someone you know or a child you love walked into danger unknowingly? These stories are chilling because they are real. They are reminders that the world can be far stranger, darker, and more unpredictable than we often imagine. Which story scared you the most? Did the Candyman haunt your thoughts? Did orange socks make you wonder about lost lives? Did Kelly Bergdove's disappearance leave you questioning safety in the quiet night? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear what stayed with you, what made your heart beat faster tonight. If you enjoyed these real Halloween mysteries, like this video. Share it with your friends so they can experience the chills too. Subscribe to the channel for more true stories that will haunt your imagination. Hit the notification bell so you never miss another chilling tale. Halloween is fun, but it is also a night of shadows. Shadows that may hide secrets, danger, or mysteries waiting to be uncovered. The stories of the Candyman, Orange Socks, and Kelly Bergdove remind us that even the most ordinary nights can hide the extraordinary, the tragic, or the terrifying. These events will stay with you long after the lights go out. So as you celebrate this Halloween, stay alert. Cherish the joy, but respect the darkness. Remember that behind every laugh, every porch light, every bowl of candy, there may be stories waiting to be told. And some of those stories are real. Some are mysteries that may never be solved. Stay safe. Stay aware. Keep your eyes open. Because you never know what mystery might be waiting just around the corner. And sometimes, the shadows are closer than you think.